I didn't. I knew that I was attracted to men, but I had no problem about it. It was just, I think something inside of me said, don't be overt with this thing. And but I was, even then, I wanted to be sexually involved. And when I was 13, my parents were having a party at their house, and one of the guests of the party passed out. And as a 13-year-old man, I wasn't part of the party, but I knew that he went into the guest room to sleep. And so I went in and I had sex with him. But he was sound asleep. He didn't know that. He was totally unprepared for that. In retrospect, I think to myself, if that were to happen today, he probably would be in jail for molesting a minor. But it was I who actually did the molesting. I'm 13 years old and I've molested, here I am, molesting a 35-year-old man. So I didn't talk about it. It wasn't, I never told any of my friends, because I didn't have any friends that I could talk about being gay. I was still dating girls in school. I played in the band, and I played in a dance band, and we were always out amongst them and with girls all the time. And but it still didn't make any difference.
So when did you come out?
And it was never, I never came out. I mean, it was just, I eased into it. I didn't have a manner of saying, hi, I'm Dick and I'm gay. It wasn't the way, it was just, I just was. And then in addition to that, I always assumed that everyone knew I was. And I think in retrospect they probably did. That kind of makes me smile, because someone did, when I had guests, family visiting me, and they wanted to go, this was in the 60s, and they wanted to go down in Hollywood and see the hippies. And so I took them down there. We parked the car and we were walking down Sunset Boulevard, and there was a hippie sitting on the side of the curb, sort of blocking the sidewalk. Gay marriage is a big surprise to me. It never occurred to me that it would happen in a million years, and I never thought about it as being an issue. I didn't have a boyfriend of my own, and I wasn't part of anyone, and so when they made it legal, I have friends that I went to their weddings. I mean, but I still have difficulty hearing my friends, my male friends, refer to their male friends as their husbands. It's a hard word for me to say. And some of them are really close, old friends, and I've known them since they were teenagers. But
you still can't believe it.
When they refer to each other as their husbands, I always sit up. It still shocks me. I have no opinion against it. I mean, I'm perfectly happy for it to be. It's just that I can't make myself think of that way. And so even here where we live, we have several couples that are married. And so I said to one of them, is so-and-so your partner? He said, he's my husband. And I thought, oh, yes, that's right, he is. So those kinds of, that bothers me. No, I'm saying that wrong. It doesn't bother me, but it's difficult for me to think of it as being a normal thing.
Because you're so used to discrimination.
That's right. I would tell them, first of all, to be careful of their health, because I certainly lived during the AIDS epidemic, and I know how free sex was during that time, and so how everybody was doing it, and no one seemed to care about it. And then when we found out what was happening, it did slow down because we learned a lot about it. But I did lose close to 50 friends as who had AIDS. My one close friend who was just a sweetheart of a person and really a lovely man. But he had had sex, I don't want to say indiscriminately, because it wasn't that way. It's just he had sex with someone who had had sex, who was someone who had had sex. And it's that kind of disease that it takes only one time, and you're with somebody and you get it from them. You don't even know you've got it yourself, and you're passing it on to somebody else. That particular friend was my friend Richard Wilkes. He was a very close friend. I liked him a lot. He was fun to be with. Great sense of humor, great personality, and I miss him a lot. And that's unfortunate that he's no longer with us, because we do miss him. All of us who knew him missed him a great deal. And there have been so many that I did know that had it, but they didn't. They weren't as close as Richard was. I reached an age where I have more friends who've died from prostate cancer than have died from AIDS now, because that's really, in my age group, that's really stricken a lot of people. I worked for ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, and I was able to meet quite a few people who were celebrities, and many of them did get AIDS, and we did talk about it, and we didn't, but nobody, it wasn't really something we talked about out in public, because they did have their career that would have suffered badly if it had been come out that way, if we had known about that. Can we stop just for a second?
Yes, Rick.